Hello and welcome to the CSUSB Advising Podcast. This is Matt Markin, an academic advisor in the ASUA Academic Advising Office. And on today's episode, we're learning more about the 2025 summer sessions. When can I register? What are the tuition fees? What about financial aid? Well, let's find out more from our guest, and that is Jonathan Rangel, Program Coordinator with the College of Extended and Global Education. Jonathan, welcome.
Hello, Matt. It's a pleasure to be on your advising podcast show, and I cannot wait to discuss more about our summer session in detail.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. But before we jump into those questions, I always think it's nice for our listeners to get to know our guests. So can you tell us a little bit about you and, a little about yourself being at CSUSB?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. My name is Jonathan Rangel. I actually serve as the program coordinator for our summer session, along with our winter session programs as well. I've served in this capacity for about 2 years at this point within the College of Extended and Global Education. I am the person that pretty much is the forefront of our summer marketing operations, our tabling operations, and so forth.
All right. Sounds good. So you're going to be a very busy person with all of this. So I'm glad that you're on to talk about summer with us today. So let's dive right into it. So when do summer classes start?
Yeah, I think that should be a great question. So our summer session actually is divided into 3 different sessions. So our first 5-week session courses begin on June 2nd. They run until July 7th. We have a 10-week session courses, which also begin on June 2nd, and they conclude on August 13th. And lastly, we have a second 5-week session courses, which begin on July 9th and end on August 13th.
Great. So 3 different sessions that students might be able to take advantage of and take classes in. A question we get sometimes from students is like, well, because they're condensed sessions, we have like the 5-week sessions you were mentioning, the 10-week session. Are summer classes the same amount of units as classes that they might take in the regular semesters, like fall and spring semester?
Yeah, so to respond to your question, the units that are earned in summer session, whether they be in the first 5-week session, second 5-week session, or even the 10-week session courses, all carry the same amount of unit values that you would earn in a semester system.
All right, awesome. Well, that's good. Good to hear. So my next question then would be, all right, if I'm a student, I want to know how many units can I take in the summer?
Yes, so since summer is a very compacted semester, in our 5-week session courses, whether it be the first 5-week session or the second 5-week sessions, students are only limited to take 7 units in those sessions. But in the 10-week session, the students can actually take up to 14 units in the 10-week session. However, students do have the ability to match. So let's say a student wants to enroll in a 5-week session course, in a 10-week session course. They can do that, granted that they still within the enrollment limits. So students would pretty much need to be below 14 units in the 10-week session course and below 7 units in the 5-week session courses.
Now, before we talk about cost, sometimes students might think that I can't get any financial aid during summer. Is that true? Is there actually financial aid that is available to a student, and how would they know if they're eligible?
Excellent question. So our department in particular does not manage actually a lot of the financial aid aspects. So I can't give specific details in regards to like how to be eligible for financial aid and those details in particular. But I will give general advice for our information regarding our summer financial aid, and that state university grants will be offered, federal loans, Pell Grant, Pell Grant 2, and parent loans will all be offered during these summer sessions. So similar to kind of like the spring and the fall semesters.
Okay, very cool. So with this next question then, so at least we've addressed that. There potentially could be some financial aid for students. So another incentive maybe for students to definitely register for classes for summer, in addition to either getting caught up or getting ahead on requirements. But let's just maybe talk about cost. what would be the cost for classes? And for this, if anyone is listening to this podcast recording versus watching the video version, you could go to csusb.edu/summer, and then you can click on the tuition and fees, and then you'll be able to kind of listen along and also be able to see the fees that we're going to be discussing right now. So let me go ahead and share my screen, and then I'll turn it over to you to give us all the information we need.
Yeah, that's a great question. And just to give you a background about our summer fee structure, I'm going to start off first with our undergraduate fee structures and move on to our different students. So I'm going to begin explaining our undergraduate fees, which are structured in a per unit basis. So I'm going to start off first with our explaining within our 0 to 6 unit fee structure. So undergraduate students enrolled within 0 to 6 units will be charged $431 with up to a fee cap of $1,764. So let's say this put in real terms. So for example, a student taking 6 units will be charged $1,764 plus the additional $286.20 in mandatory campus fees, rather than the standard per unit rate, which should come out to about $2,500. So students in this fee structure have an incentive to take up to 6 units, since they will be actually paying less than what it's actually charged at the per unit basis. This structure also follows for students taking 6.1 in units and above. So students will be charged $318 per unit if they take 6.1 units and above, and they will also be capped at $3,000.42 on top of the additional mandatory campus fees of $286.28. The same structure also applies to our credential students who are enrolled in 0 to 6 units. They will be charged $498 per unit with a maximum cap of $2,049. And then credential students taking 6.1 units and above will be charged $367 per unit with a maximum of $3,531 on top of the additional campus fees of $286.28. And lastly, graduate students will be charged $538 per unit if they take 0 to 6 units with a maximum cap of $2,208. And also, if they be interested in taking classes that are above 6 units, they would be charged $397 per unit with a maximum of $3,804 on top of the additional mandatory campus fees of $286.28. I know it's a lot to digest, but this is just the way that our fees are structured this year in summer.
Yeah, but I like that they kind of, if they maximize the number of units, whether it's like the up to the 6 or the 6.1 or more, like there is that possibility of kind of having a little bit of a discount in a sense, because they max out at that certain amount. And just to kind of clarify, for the mandatory campus fees at $268.28, that is like a flat fee. It's not like the tuition where it's like per unit you're charged something.
That is correct. I also wanted to bring attention to you as well, our non-resident and international student fees. If you scroll down on the page, if you're watching this broadcast right now, or if you're actually listening to the audio podcast, you'll see that our non-resident and international students will also be charged $420 per each full unit, in addition to those campus fees that I just explained earlier.
Now that we've kind of talked about like the fees, talked a little bit about the financial aid, the different sessions that summer has, is the class schedule already out there for students to view?
Great question as well. And the CSUSB summer session class schedule has actually been available since Friday, February 21st. So if you were to go back to the website that I mentioned, which is csusb.edu/summer, you will notice that there's actually a tab on the very top of our website page, which says class schedule. You'll just click on that, and you'll be able to view all of the different course offerings that will be offered for summer sessions. So I believe there's over 400 different classes that are offered over the summer, with many of them being fully online options as well. So it's a great thing to consider for sure.
And then when can students start to register?
So students will be able to register through their My Coyote portal, their student center, on April 7th. So each student will be given a specific enrollment date and time, which will also be located on their student center. And students will have the ability to register according to what a registration time they will be given. But registration overall begins on April 7th.
Yeah, and so that kind of just means too, like if a student's listening right now, whatever your registration day and time is, make sure that you try to register on that day and time to get better your chances of getting enrolled in classes. Because yeah, more students will be opened up every hour on some of these days. So you want to make sure you can take advantage of your specific registration day and time. Now, what if I'm a new student at CSUSB? I'm starting in the fall 2025 semester. Am I allowed to take summer classes, or is there a certain department I should contact?
Yes, and actually, admitted students who will be coming in the fall 2025 semester, will have the ability to actually take classes early. So we have a program which is called the Early Summer Starter Program, which is actually administered by the admissions department. And there usually is an application on their website each year, probably opens around mid-May or so. And students will just simply complete that application and will be able to take classes early in the summer. If they have any additional questions regarding this early summer starter program, I would highly encourage them to contact the admissions department to get more information regarding the early summer starter program.
All right, cool. Now, let's say I'm a student and I have maybe some additional questions. Who should I reach out to? Should I be going to this website? Should I be emailing, going on social media? What should I do?
Yeah, so us as summer session, we have various channels, various means of contacting us. I would highly encourage everybody to contact a phone number, which we can be reached at area code 909-537-3978. In addition to this, we can also be contacted via email, which is summer@csusb.edu. And finally, we actually have an Instagram page as well. So I would highly encourage everybody, if they have questions, to send us a DM, direct message at CSUSB Summer. And one of us on our staff will respond to your questions in a timely manner.
All right. Well, Jonathan, that's all the questions I have. Thank you so much for sharing information about summer session with our CSUSB students.